It's nice to be here with all of you guys. I'm very excited about this next conversation, and I hope you are too. We're going to be focusing on the intersection of popular consumer culture and sustainability because, you know, we can talk all we want in this room and at conferences like this about these issues. We can talk till we're blue in the face, but it's not the people in this room that we actually need to reach, right? It's the people outside the room. It's the people on the street and the people in the shops and the people watching Netflix, which is where these guys come in. I am very happy to introduce Amber Valletta and Amy Johnson.
Hi. Hello.
You probably know who she is, or at least recognize her. But what you may not know is that these guys have been working together for almost 10 years on using what you might call soft power to sell not just stuff, but a responsible idea of how we relate to stuff. And that's what we're going to start by talking about. So we're going to talk a little bit, and then at the end, you guys are going to have the opportunity to ask questions, and I encourage you to seize the opportunity. So start thinking now about what you want to ask them later, okay? To begin with, I wonder if you guys would just talk me through your own journey to sustainability and when you started, why you started, and what it was like way back then.
So about, I don't know, probably 12 years ago, maybe longer. I've known Amy's, our children went to preschool together, and my son's 18.
And my daughter's 16 and here in the audience.
But about, I'd say 15 years ago, 13 years ago, I started thinking about what did I want to do for the next chapter of my life. And after acting for some time and being in the fashion industry for now a very long time, I kind of needed to gain a little bit of control and also perspective. And Amy and I started working together and started kind of talking about what would that be. So Amy, being the amazing woman that she is, asked me to sit down and talk about values. What were my values? And to write them out. And what was I good at? What did I want to do? And so we did that, and I really felt like my values I had a clear perspective, but I also wanted to stay within fashion and create something. And so it was kind of one of those things that kind of all intersections all met. And I've always been a fighter for the environment and a believer in conservation and also innovation within the industry that I'm in. And that's how we formed Master and Muse, which was an online store selling responsibly made clothing and accessories.
But this was when? Master and Muse?
2013 is when we launched, but we started working on it many years before and really taking our time and asking a lot of questions. And ultimately, did we need to produce more? Amy can talk about that with what people were saying to us early on was that I should use my name and do something and make something. And I had an epiphany, which was not to do that.
It was an interesting time because we were meeting with investors with this idea, and they were investing a lot in fashion startups at the time, and they really were putting a lot of pressure on Amber to launch her own collection. And she had a moment when she was in Aspen, and she called me, and she's like, it was really clear that that wasn't the path. And since we had done her values so distinctly and clearly, it was a compass for us to be able to make those decisions. And so we turned down money, and she bootstrapped the whole thing. And then we also were creative and found a partner with Ukes.com.
So essentially, people were willing to give you money for an Amber Valletta fashion line that you might or might not design actually yourself. Mm-hmm. But when you said, no, I want to look at responsibly made clothes and sort of put them under my imprimatur, they said, you're crazy.
Yeah. I mean, they also didn't believe there was a problem in fashion. I mean, they understood what was happening in food. In 2012, 2013, people were like, there's nothing wrong with fashion. There's no problem here. So we got a lot of resistance and a lot of push towards just do it the same old way. It's always been done. It's very lucrative. And it is. But we could see that model was no longer working. And for not just for the earth, but like we just didn't want to be part of that. So we had to go do outside the box a little bit.
And the aha moment I had was we were kind of on the fence of what did this business look like. And so I urge any of you who are thinking about that to really listen to yourselves, because I couldn't sleep. And I had that feeling of like, I cannot make more stuff if it's the same path that we've been doing, this fashion trajectory, this industry, the way we've been doing it for so long. So the way I'm at least going to start changing the paradigm is I'm going to sell other people's things that are already being produced that are responsibly made. And we had a criteria. And I felt like I could curate and uplift and showcase and bring visibility to what young designers were already doing in this sustainable, responsibly made arena.
So how did you come to the realization that there was too much stuff or that the system was broken? I mean, if everyone else was like, oh, the system is great, like, what'd you know?
Amy and I did a lot of research because we had this idea that I was going to try to do a brand that was, sustainable, or a store. We weren't really sure what it was, but we did a lot of research. And so in that research, you realize there were a lot of labor issues. There was a lot of environmental issues. When you just start, you read and you're talking with educators. We spent a lot, we had multiple conversations with different professors from St. Martin's, Parsons, FIT. We were getting educated. And
it was a real discovery, because we kind of started with a question and really followed that. And one of that was, the question was, can we have style and substance? Are they mutually exclusive? And we didn't know. And we didn't really even know the depth of the substance piece. So we were one of those too. We didn't know how deep the problem was. But we wanted to be about a solution too.
We knew the stylish piece.
Yeah.
I love fashion, and I've kind of grown up in this industry. So I knew that great design exists, and that part was possible. And I know creativity and innovation, but could they all intersect? And I think that's where you all come in now in the future, is to bring the, to marry all of these things.
And how hard was it to figure out what you were doing and to also continue to believe in yourself? Because one of the issues with this particular specialty, I guess, really, is that it's so new, really. I mean, 10 years, 8 years, 6 years, it's really, it's such a short amount of time that there's no kind of obvious path, right? I mean, like, you come out of school, there's nobody saying, well, here's the job you get, and then you get this job, and then you get that job, and then you get to, like, be sustainability chief, right? Like, it's very fuzzy still. So, like, what do you need as entrepreneurs, as someone, looking into this to kind of make yourself do it?
I would say the values really help, because they're that compass, that way to really sit down, know ourselves, know what matters to us, and have a team around you to check in with, because it is carving a new path and being out of the box thinkers. And one of the areas too that we touched on is, what's the business model? Like, beginning to really ask important questions, because the same old growth model doesn't really work anymore, as I was saying. And so it was a really question, answer each step of the game, research, and then kind of going back to our values, know when to say yes and when to say no, because there were so many different opportunities that came our way that we had to kind of navigate through. And then recognizing that we also wanted to build awareness, because the information gap was huge. So one of our core values is awareness. So we put together a short film, or a series of short films, and partnered with Lexus and produced some short films to help build that awareness. And build up Amber's thought leadership as well.
And talk a little bit about the experience with Master and Muse, what you learned, what mistakes you made, if any,
Well, we learned a tremendous amount. I think probably this relates to the students here the most, as one of the things we found, and even designers that are out in the fashion world today, we found that we did not have enough choices in product. I mean, we had enough to curate, a small store, but one, the prices were extremely high because of, materials are more expensive if they're sustainable, or if you're, there were just different markups, and that was one pain point. The other pain point was that fit was not great. And we were really frustrated by that because we were like, this, it doesn't have to be like this. We can have, people, our designers were lovely and some of them were very good and talented, but there was definitely a problem with fit and even production at times.
Quality.
And
a little
quality.
bit.
And I think, this is something I really want to drive home. If you're becoming a designer, or if you are thinking about running a company, it's that is what's going to sell. Like, we can talk about sustainability all day long, but you have to implement that into your business from the get-go, regardless if that's part of your marketing structure or not. It has to be implemented now. But great design, ultimately, at the end of the day, is what's going to draw people in, and if it fits well. And that, I think, was one of our biggest pain points.
Yeah. And we found a lot of things were
cost.
over-designed and trying too hard instead of kind of,
Just keeping it simple.
thinking it's enough.
But then the other stuff was the great joys of it were seeing brands that had no visibility ever suddenly have visibility, and then be able to expand.
Which brands did you guys, how many brands did you stock? Which ones? Just can you name a few?
Well, we did. I mean, there were some no names. There was Vilu, who's based here. Matt and Nat is an accessory brand. Melissa Joy Manning,
Joy
ring, yeah. Vivian Westwood, her African Ethical collection, and then some smaller jewelry brands and Benno, and
we had a great recycled, or they were using
The
upcycled
Sway.
leather, the Sway, which was super cool. That was one of my favorites.
yeah, they took the leather from excess motorcycle seats, like a factory in Portugal,
leather
I think, and made
jackets,
jackets and
like motorcycle
bags from it. So the stories about the designers was really a fun thing. We showcased them on the site. And then it was fun because we also creative directed all the shoots. So we were able to kind of give them an opportunity. Amber got to wear their clothes and their stuff and get shot by Alexi.
I think it's a great opportunity
great.
too, if you can be on all sides of, or as many different sides of a business as possible. So if you are thinking about starting your own business, whatever it is, it's like playing a part in so many aspects of it. Because not only was I modeling or curating the site, we were buying, we were talking to designers and collaborating with designers, but then we were also working on the budget for the shoot, which for me, I'd never done before. I'd just gone to a shoot and it's all done for me and it was all glamorous. And then we're working on a tight budget, and it was great. It was fascinating. There was a lot of appreciation for what I go to work to do every day, but also within my business of how can we stay lean and mean, or lean and really nice.
Yeah.
And how much have things changed from when you started to when you stopped, I guess, or now?
Wow. I mean, I think we are just on the precipice of what this I wouldn't even say movement, this paradigm shift within our industry. We're just at the beginning of it, but it is night and day from what Amy and I, where we started, to sitting and having this conversation with you today. It's
Right. And there's more to
pretty
go.
remarkable.
I mean,
oh yeah,
communicating about the climate crisis and fashion is not an easy thing to do when you want to inspire hope or, activate a change in behavior, and not leave everyone kind of in fear and panic, because there's a lot of that too. And then everyone gets what we call
maybe don't say it here.
don't say it.
The F-its.
The F-its, or why bother? The why bothers, it's so bad. So I think we really see that it's not an easy thing to do, but things are shifting, and the more everyone can talk about the solutions and what they are doing, because I think it starts with us at home and day to day, and how we're look at what we're going to buy and how we're going to buy and who made our clothes, and there's simple things we can do and more people seem to know about it, I think, a little bit more too.
I think more people are doing things, more brands are doing things, but I think one of the frustrations for us is, even though we're actively working in this, thought leadership part of the industry, we don't even know sometimes that so-and-so is using, like a certain denim brand is using a company that purely makes clean denim. If they're not stating it, how would anyone know? And so it doesn't necessarily need to be on their labels like a marketing tool, but perhaps they could communicate it in a way that,
And I think,
we know, we're more aware.
And we do have those conversations because we were surprised that there were brands that were actually doing things sustainably, and we were talking about this earlier. But there's fear about putting it out there because they're afraid of being targeted if they're not doing enough, or this area is not quite so clean, and this area is. And I think all of us have that in our life where there are places that, this could use a little work, and this is where things are jiving. And so as consumers, we can, write to our brands and encourage them to do more. And I think the more that the bigger brands are out there talking about it and like owning what they're doing or helping Amber speak about them, the better. And then as new brands and students, out of the gate, just being that.
Okay, I have one last question, and then we're going to open this up to you guys. So get your questions ready. You have been warned. Because I will start calling on people if no one asks a question, because we do not like a quiet room. So my last question is, can you talk a little bit about what's next? Because you've moved on from Master and Muse, and you've got a big new idea.
Go ahead.
So Amber and I are producing another short film, and it's called
Inspired by Vanessa Friedman.
Inspired by Vanessa's talk at the Copenhagen Fashion Summit. And actually, the Copenhagen Fashion Summit is our partner on this. And we set out to create a short film that is entertaining and engaging and has real truth and facts in it too, so it's kind of a hybrid. And it's called The Changing Room. And we're in the fundraising phase. We're close to closing that, we hope, and would love to be able to get it out this year or by 2020 the latest. But the idea is it's something that everybody can watch and be inspired by. And do you want to give the log line, or do you want me to do it? Go ahead. So the concept of the film is kind of fun. So we have a fashionista who goes into her favorite boutique to shop, and she goes into a changing room in the store and has a profound shift in experience. And out of the mirror, there's a magic mirror in the room, different celebrities and people pop up and let her know about what she's wearing, how much water is used in her jeans, where that cotton came from in her t-shirt. And she really has a shift in what she's buying and what she's interested in. And it's all done with what you can do about it too. And we're partnering with Fashion Revolution, if you don't know who that is. And they have a great online tool where you can send postcards to the brands and ask them to make changes. Because I think as we're all consumers or we're all shoppers, and we can demand the brands do something different. We have that power. And so we hope with this film to inspire that, a changed behavior and awareness, what happens when we want to buy something new. So that's The Changing Room.
I can't wait to see it. Don't you want to see it? Yeah.